Hey juniors, how you doing? Hey juniors, how you doing? Today is Wednesday the 30th. This video will also be Thursday the 1st and Friday the 2nd of December. As I've said before, and I know we're going to say it again and again, we are getting very close to the end. We're now into December. We know that means we're getting very close. Please make sure you're staying focused and driven and connected, and do not let things get away from you, especially today, tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and that we're going to be working on this over the course of some classes, so you don't want to get behind in this. Our essential question: which is more important, the internal motivations of a character or the character's personality in a particular situation? And so what we want to do is we want to see if we really understand the character and what really got him to that place, what was really going on, both internally and externally, right? Again, we are looking at characterization. As we go into Thursday, we're going to develop that into theme, and understanding, like, okay, here's what I see, how do I react to that? And then how does that really get me into the theme and the story? Okay, so we're going to look at John Proctor throughout the story, and we're going to look at a variety of clips, and that will get us through Friday. Okay, our 80s movies quotes of the days, again, since this is one video for all 3 days. Wednesdays is from Tron. This is the animated, it's a digitally enhanced Disney video about life inside of a video game. The quote is on the other side of the screen: "It all looks so easy." This was in the 80s, but they did remake it. You might be familiar with the remake. Thursday's 80 movies quote of the day comes from the movie Big, which featured a young Tom Hanks, in which he is young, but he is put into an adult's body. And he goes, "You mean sleepover? Okay, but I get to sleep on the top." Obviously, he doesn't understand what it means to sleep over in the adult world. And then Fridays comes from Mommy Dearest. I think a lot of people have some familiarity with this quote, even though they might not fully understand what it was, or what the movie was. It's about this famous actress and how she's verbally and mentally abusive to her daughter. No. Wire hangers. What's wired hangers doing in the closet when I told you no wire hangers ever? I think a lot of people are familiar with that quote or that scene, maybe just not the full context of it. Let's take a look at what we are going to be dealing with, and that is John Proctor. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're going to look at a progression of John Proctor. And we're going to be looking at several things. First off, characterization, who the character is. What was his internal motivations? What were the external factors that kind of pushed him one way or another? And we're also going to look at his change. How did he start and how did he end? Okay. John Proctor is the main character of the story, again, based on reality. And he is, as the main character, he's going to be called the hero, right? But he's a tragic hero. And what that means for us is that he is a flawed character, that his problems and his issues lead to his downfall, right? He is that tragic hero for us. Now, he was a local farmer. He was well respected in the community, hardworking, well liked, married, young boys. But he gets swept up in this whole witch hunt controversy by several different factors. One is that he was respected. People believe in what he says. He's the voice of reason in a lot of ways. But nobody knows, most everybody in the town does not know, that he had an affair with Abigail. And he's very protective of that. He doesn't want that out, right? For obviously, he didn't want to be embarrassed, but it's also a very Puritan thing not to have had sins of the flesh. And then he has the ability to speak up and stop all this, and he doesn't. And then he gets wrapped up because as he finally does try to stop it, he then becomes accused of being a witch. And then he's forced to make decisions about how he deals with that, and does he save himself or his wife or the community or whatever. So there's a lot of different things going on. And we're going to be looking at several different clips from a variety of sources. We have, like we have before, we had the audio version before. These, for John, we're going to look at some different dramatic productions, high school and professional productions, and then the video DVD version of John Proctor. And the thing that we're going to be looking at here, and I'll pull that up for you. You will see the list of them here. So we'll see early on in the story, we saw John Proctor when we looked at Abigail originally. We're going to look at a scene that happens toward the end of Act 1, and that is John and Abigail, the girl that he had the affair with. And they meet it's behind the barn, but it's kind of like secreted away. And we get to see the first glimpse of the two of them together. This is after the affair. He's already broken it off, but Abigail thinks that she can still reignite that. The second clip comes at the beginning of Act 2, in which John and Elizabeth, his wife, are talking. His wife does know about the affair, and it is still a raw subject with them. It's a very uncomfortable discussion between the two of them. The third clip comes in Act 3. And this is John in court, and John has the opportunity to make everything stop and to make everything end. John has the ability to do that, and he's really torn in a lot of different directions, and we get to see how that plays out. And then clip number 4, and then clip number 5, John has been accused of being a witch. He's given the opportunity to confess and save himself. He really struggles with that decision, whether he should or not. And then clip number 5, which will be on the DVD version. It's not a clip on YouTube. This is where he is actually executed for his crimes. As we go through this, we want to go ahead, like we've done before, these physical or these personality traits and his motivations. What is he doing? What do we know about him? And what were the things that make him do the things that he does? Again, the thing that really stands out about motivation and how you connect with them. Then we've got 2 quick writings here. One of them is, what is his tragic flaws? When you look at him, what was the thing that really made his downfall? What brought him to the place that he was? There's a lot of different answers to this. I guess it really depends on what you really key in on and what really jumps out at you as the most important. And then our second writing, so we'll do this on Thursday. This will be on Thursday. On Friday, you have a choice here. So you've got one of these 6 that we want you to select, and then we want you to answer it. Okay, when John is first introduced, he's happy. Why or why not? Why is he happy in the very beginning of the story? Because we know at the end he is a broken man. Number 2, how might John be considered a superior or privileged person? What makes him a better person? Now, he was successful as a farmer. He wasn't rich, but he was well respected. He was respected. People looked up to him, and he was an integral part of the community. The Puritans would have really believed that they believed in predestination, and the way your external life look is really a reflection of your eternal life, right? Like what is going on now is a reflection of what your heavenly life will be like. So if they're looking at him like this, they're going to assume that's, because he's already been chosen and he's on the right path. In number 3, in your opinion, is John a moral or ethical person? This one is really tough because you can make a case either way. Do you believe he did the right thing? Yes or no, and why? Choice number 4, at what point does John realize he's facing his own demise? What's his reaction to this? And is that consistent with with the fact that he's the tragic hero? So I think because we know what happens, and I'm going to tie all those pieces together for you. At what point does he realize that, right? Like we talk about dramatic irony, and we know a lot of the pieces, we know a lot of the background. At what point does he figure out the path that he's on? Number 5, do you believe he is an ideal tragic hero? In other words, is he a model that we can look at and say, if you want to know what a tragic hero is, here's one, and we could study that as an example. And number 6, your choice could be, do you feel sorry for him? Do you pity him? And then we want you to answer that one down here. So you type in the number that you select and then answer it. We do want you to be specific with your answer. We want you to be very, clear, take a specific opinion, and then back it up with evidence and explanation. You have to be able to prove your point. Okay. Again, one of the things that you're going to notice with this is the fact that we are going to spend multiple days on this. Okay. We're going to spend multiple days on this. So it is important that you stay focused, that you don't get behind, right? Next week, we're going to tie some pieces up and everything. So you really want to spend these days knocking this out, nailing this down. Do not get behind. If you have questions, you don't understand what's going on, or you don't understand the context of the story or the connections, please make sure you're reaching out to McGuire Eye so that we can answer those questions for you, give you the best chance of success, and good luck, everybody.